great council in the highest secret place. Let the group sound a dual chord, reverberating in the halls where move the masters but finding pause and prolongation within those radiant halls where move the lights which carry out the will of God. Rule VI. For applicants. When the disciple nears the portal, the greater seven must awaken and bring forth response from the lesser seven upon the double circle. For disciples and initiates. Let the group find within itself response to the greater seven groups, which carry out the hierarchical will with love and understanding. The group contains all seven, the perfect group. The lesser seven, the greater seven and the planetary seven form one great whole, and these the group must know. When this is realized, and the law of the supplementary seven is understood, let the group understand the three and then the one. This they can do with the united breath, and the unified rhythm. Rule IX. For applicants. Let the disciple merge himself within the circle of the other selves. Let but one color blend them and their unity appear. Only when the group is known and sensed can energy be wisely emanated. For disciples and initiates. Let the group know there are no other selves. Let the group know there is no color, only light. And then let darkness take the place of light, hiding all difference, blotting out all form. Then at the place of tension, and at that darkest point let the group see a point of clear cold fire, and in the fire, right at its very heart, let the one initiator appear whose star shone forth when the door first was passed. Rule X. For applicants. The army of the voice, the devas in their serried ranks work ceaselessly. Let the disciple apply himself to a consideration of their methods. Let him learn the rules whereby the army works within the veils of Maya. For disciples and initiates. The rules for work within the veils of Maya are known and have been used. Let the group widen all the rents within those veils, and thus let in the light. Let the army of the voice be no more heard, and let the brothers onward move within the sound. Then let them know the meaning of the OM, and let them hear that OM as it is sounded forth by him who stands and waits at the very center of the council chamber of the Lord. Rules I. For applicants. Let the disciple transfer the fire from the lower triangle to the higher, and preserve that which is created through the fire at the midway point. For disciples and initiates. Let the group together move the fire within the jewel in the lotus into the triad, and let them find the word which will carry out that task. Let them destroy by their dynamic will that which has been created at the midway point. When the point of tension is reached by the brothers at the fourth great cycle of attainment, then will this work be done. Rule XII. For applicants. Let the disciple learn to use the hand in service. Let him seek the mark of the messenger in his feet, and let him learn to see with the eye, which looks out from between the two. For disciples and initiates. Let the group serve as Aquarius indicates. Let Mercury speed the group upon the upward way, and let Taurus bring illumination and the attainment of the vision. Let the mark of the Savior, as the group toils in Pisces, be seen above the aura of the group. Rule ZI. For applicants. 4 things the disciple must learn and comprehend before he can be shown the inmost mystery. First, the laws of that which radiates. The 5 meanings of magnetization make the second. The third is transmutation, or the secret lost of alchemy. And lastly, the first letter of the word which has been imparted, or the hidden name egoic. For disciples and initiates. Let the group get ready to reveal the hidden mystery. Let the group demonstrate the higher meaning of the lessons learned, and these are 4 and yet are 1. Let the group understand the law of synthesis, of unity and fusion. Let the threefold mode of working with that which is dynamic carry the group together towards the higher 3 where the will of God holds sway. Let transfiguration follow transformation, and may transmutation disappear. Let the OM be heard right at the center of the group, proclaiming God is all. Rule XIV. For applicants. Listen, touch, see, apply, know. For disciples and initiates. Know, express, reveal, destroy and resurrect. These are the rules for group initiation, and I am dealing with them to give you a fuller understanding of the laws of group life with which I dealt in some of my other books. I will take these rules and expound for you somewhat of their meaning and indicate their significances as far as these can be grasped now. These instructions are written for future disciples towards the end of this century. They form part of the last volume of a treatise on the 7 rays and will, therefore, go out to the general public who will not understand, but thus the needed teaching will be preserved. Rule 1. We now begin our study of the 14 rules for those who are seeking initiation, in one or other of its degrees. In initiation, human and solar, I gave the rules for those proposing to enter the grades of discipleship. I would like for a minute to deal with the significance of the word, rule, and give you some idea of its occult meaning. There is much difference between a law, an order or command, and a rule, and these distinctions should be pondered with care. The laws of the universe are simply the modes of expression, the life impulses and the way of existence or activity of the one in whom we live and move and have our being. There is no avoiding these laws in the last analysis, and there is no denying them, for we are eternally swept into activity by them and they govern and control, from the angle of the eternal now, all that happens in time and space. Orders and commands are the feeble interpretations which men give to what they understand by law. In time and space, and at any given moment and in any given location, these commands are issued by those who are in a position of authority or who seem to dominate or are in a position to enforce their wishes. Laws are occult and basic. Orders are indicative of human frailty and limitation. Rules are, however, different. They are the result of tried experience and of age-long undertakings, and assuming neither the form of laws nor the limitations of a command, they are recognized by those for whom they exist and hence evoke from them a prompt intuitive response. They need no enforcement but are voluntarily accepted, and are put to trial in the belief that the witness of the past and the testimony of the ages warrant the effort required for the expressed requirements. This is true of the 14 rules, which we are now going to study. I would remind you that only the initiate consciousness will truly comprehend their significance, but also that your effort so to do will develop in you the beginning of that initiate consciousness, provided you seek to make practical and voluntary application of these rules in your daily lives. They are susceptible of 3 forms of application: physical, emotional and mental, and of a 4th application which is best designated by the words, the response of the integrated personality to soul interpretation and understanding. Another point which I would call to your attention, prior to interpreting this rule, is that your group endeavor must be to seek group application, group meaning and group light. I would emphatically emphasize the words, group light. We are dealing, therefore, with something basically new in the field of occult teaching, and the difficulty of intelligent comprehension is consequently great. The true significances are not the simple ones, which appear upon the surface. The words of these rules would seem to be almost tritely familiar. If they meant exactly what they appear to mean, there would be no need for me to be giving hints as to their underlying significances and ideas. But they are not so simple. To sum up, therefore, these rules are to be read with the aid of a developing esoteric sense. They are related to group initiation in spite of their having individual application. They are not what they appear to be on the surface, trite truisms and spiritual platitudes. But they are rules for initiation which, if followed, will take the disciple, and the group through a major spiritual experience. They embody the techniques of the New Age, which necessitate group activity, group procedure and united action. Earlier I said that these rules are the result of tried experience, and my use of the word new in this connotation is related to human knowledge but not to the initiatory procedure that has always existed, and always, at the great crises of initiation, disciples have moved forward in groups, even though they have not been aware of so doing. Now disciples can become so aware, and the various Ray ashrams will not only present their groups, large or small, to the initiator, but the personnel of these groups will now be aware of the fact of group presentation. They will also have to grasp the fact of the extent of their knowledge, being dependent upon their decentralization. I would ask you to ponder and reflect upon this last statement. Let us now proceed to a consideration of Rule I. Rule I. Within the fire of mind, focus within the head's clear light, let the group stand. The burning ground has done its work. The clear cold light shines forth, and cold it is, and yet the heat evoked by the group love permits the warmth of energetic moving out. Behind the group there stands the door. Before them opens out the way. Together let the band of brothers onward move out of the fire, into the cold, and toward a newer tension. It will be profitable, if we take this rule I sentence by sentence and try to wrest from each its group significance. 1. Within the fire of the mind, focus within the head's clear light, let the group stand. In this sentence, you have the idea of intellectual perception and of focused unity. Intellectual perception is not mental understanding, but is in reality the clear cold reason, the Buddhic principle in action and the focused attitude of the spiritual triad in relation to the personality. I would call your attention to the following analogies. Head, monad, atma, purpose, heart, soul, buddhi, pure reason, base of spine, personality, means spiritual activity. In these words you have, therefore, the position of the personality indicated as it stands at the penetrating point of the antakana as it contacts the manas, or lower mind, and is thus the agent of the purpose of the monad, working through the spiritual triad which is, as you know, related to the personality by the antakana. The heart as an aspect of pure reason requires careful consideration. It is usually considered the organ of pure love, but from the angle of the esoteric sciences love and reason are synonymous terms, and I would have you reflect upon why this should be. Love is essentially a word for the underlying motive of creation. Motive, however, presupposes purpose leading to action, and hence in the group life task of the incarnating monad there comes a time when motive, heart and soul, becomes spiritually obsolete because purpose has reached a point of fulfillment, and the activity set in motion is such that purpose cannot be arrested or stopped. The disciple cannot then be deterred, and no hindrance or difficulty is hard enough to prevent his moving forward. Then we have eventual destruction of what theosophists call the causal body, and the establishing of a direct relation between the monad and its tangible expression upon the physical plane. The head center, and the center at the base of the spine will be in direct unimpeded relation. Monadic will and personality will likewise be in the